Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Monday night connection. Tonight, I'm doing this class from out of the country, but I didn't want to skip every week. It's so important, at least for myself, to connect to this wisdom, to connect to another revelation, another secret, and I see it as I don't want to skip it. For me, it's nothing to do with anybody else. But if some of us or most of us can take that wisdom and apply it to our life, and maybe this week they didn't listen or something new came. I don't know if they skip it or not, but it is important that we will stay connected and gather new information, new knowledge, new consciousness for the week. So as we learn, every week we're going to tap into what is the revelation that is awakened, or that's awakened cosmically first, and then what it means internally for my life. How do I see it? How do I plug into it? How do I manifest it in my life? It's a whole different story. In this week, remember we spoke about this time that we are at cosmically right now is what we call the time of the Omer, which is a time between Passover and the holiday called Shavuot, which is the revelation of the Torah. I will explain more about it when we get there. So we are 7 weeks. We are in the 5th week or 6th week, and as we get closer, the light of these days become more and more stronger and stronger. So in this week, obviously, as we're going through the Torah, we're starting a new book, the book of Numbers, book of what we call Bamidbar, which is in the desert. So many different stories going on there, many different secrets going on there, but I will focus today on one particular thing that can really awaken for us in the concept of the desert. But first, if you look at the way it's written, right? Unlike many other times or in the writings, you can find that it says God spoke to Moses. Now you remember, every time we speaking like that, it's not about some God who speak to Moses that was in the desert. It's Moses represent your higher self, your inner temple, right? That's what it represents. That's the name. It's not a person. It's a code. I don't want to go into many details about the name Moses and the name Moshe, what it represents in a code way. It really speaks about your temple, your highest self. That self that you're not even connected every day. And when God spoke to Moses, it's not God spoke to Moses, is your higher self can only hear that message. Not your regular individual who live life, who struggle in this physical world, or who battling this world of illusion. The higher self, our inner self, is listening to this message all the time. What we want to create, we connect a mechanism that allow it to trickle down to the me of now, of what do I need to hear, what's the message that I need to internalize. So if you read the beginning of the portion, it says God spoke to Moses, but then he says, Bamidbar Sinai, Be'oel Moed, Be'echad Lachodesh Hasheni, which month, the second month. Many details is continuing to describe that God had a message to Moses. Why do I need to hear all the messages? It's like, imagine you telling someone, a friend of yours, I spoke to my friend. We were in the corner of 42nd and 3rd, in the second floor, in the balcony, in the attic. Why do I need to care where you spoke to your friend? Tell me, you just spoke to your friend. And it's a beautiful message that we're missing, and I share it probably maybe every year that I have an opportunity to share it. Many details of where the conversation took place. What is the idea? To show us very, very much a direction. Number one, most of us are very vague. Are very vague in life. We're not gonna ask directly. We're not gonna speak directly. We're not gonna share directly. We're gonna be in a roundabout. We beat around the bushes. We're politically correct. We sugarcoat things. We're not specific, right? Or directly to the matter. So when sometimes you come to speak to a friend of yours, you're gonna go all around and around and around before you go into the point. Sometimes it's the person doesn't even know that you go around. So number one, speak to the fact of why you came to speak to that individual. Directly, be specific of what you want in life as well. And again, when you become more specific, now you're helping the universe to be more specific with you, as opposed to random things or maybe stuff that happen or not. I'm not sure. Is it for me? It's not for me. Is the message for me or it's not for them? It's for them or it's for me? All the time when you become specific, the message comes well specific to you. Okay? That's on general. This is not just for this week's, but it's in general to live life by this idea. Right? Then, in this week, we found that it says Ish al Diglo. Each one of the tribes were divided in a way to, let's say, for example, there was 12 tribes. Again, there's a message, a deeper message for this, but I'm not going to go into the tribe of what they represent in our life and what do they mean. But it's not about some tribes who lived in the desert who came to the land of Israel. Of course, this is not the message. But they were divided to groups of three. So in a way, 4 groups of 3 tribes. Each one of it is guided by Ish al Diglo. He had a flag. Each one of those groups lead with a flag. Right? When back then in the army goes to there was a guy who carried the flag. Right? Or every day, I remember in the army, you go in the morning, you raise the flag, and then you take it down, and so on. There's a lot of things about the flag. So I want to go into not just that idea, but the big picture about the idea of the flag. Right? What is a flag? Like you have our flagship, our flag store, right? This is our flag. This is like, we live and die by the flag of United States or whatever it is, right? Represent a lot. People carry it. That it's the flag represent a lot. When they're giving it to people, what does it mean? First of all, what is your flag? What type of flag you represent? What type of flag do you want to represent? Right? Because most of us, right, we need to awaken and to represent a certain flag. What are you? Who are you? I'm just a person, regular person. Yeah, but when something doesn't work, or you want something, all of a sudden, I belong to this, or I belong to that, because that will be my flag for now. Many people, switching flags right and left based on their agenda. Now I believe in this. Now I believe in that. Doesn't serve me, I don't believe it anymore, and so forth. What's the idea of flag? Flag doesn't speak. Flag doesn't talk, right? It doesn't really tell you, you should do this. It's you call it a symbol, right? But the flag, that's why you put the flag high. Why? You put it on a pole, very high pole, or the roof, right? Why? Because everyone needs to see it. So what does it mean? Most people do it in a way of convincing people, come to my flag, come to my camp. This is my camp. I want you to be part of my camp. Yes, it's true. But are you standing behind your flag? Do you really raise the flag in your life. Because it's important that many of us think that something will happen without, us representing it. You have to become the flag. Why? Because every day, let's say for example for myself, every day I wake up, I go to the wall and I raise the flag. My flag, if you hear in the classes, for me it's Kabbalah. The wisdom of Kabbalah to be shared in the world. That's the flag I'm raising. If somebody came and tell me, hey, can you teach me yoga? I say, no, I'm not raising that flag. I don't say yoga is bad. Or can you teach me, Spanish? No, I'm not raising that flag. I'm not this. Every day I'm raising the flag and everybody knows this is the flag. If you're interested in that, come to that flag. Many people shoveling the other flag to people. Again, even now what I'm doing now, I represent the flag. You want, you welcome. Nobody forces you to listen to this, right? But if it speaks to you and you're interested in this wisdom, so you gravitate to that flag. So whenever that flag is being raised, you are part of it. Now, the question is, when is the time that you're going to raise that flag? Me? I'm a student of Kabbalah and I want to share this wisdom. I'm not convincing people, I'm raising the flag. And that is something that people really don't appreciate so much about that idea. Because, it's not enough for us to become that flag. It's mostly if people like it, I'm going to keep doing it. If people don't like it, right, it's about people's opinion. My teacher, right, raised that flag when nobody was interested in that, even know about Kabbalah in the world, or, not just that, were against it, right? So, and again, a lot of people are against something new. Not to say that Kabbalah is new. Kabbalah is the most ancient wisdom. But I'm saying that now it became popular, right? What do you mean? So now because it's popular, that's why I need to raise that flag? No. We using these tools, we study this wisdom, and we realize how it's changing us and help the world. So now the only thing that for me or for others who are doing it is to raise that flag, is to share this wisdom with the world. Now every person, you have to look at it in your life. What is your flag? What is your family flag? What is your the truth that you live by? That is the flag. You're not supposed to shovel it and coerce it to people. You need to raise it every single day. Raise the flag to the world to see. If they want to know what is this flag, that's what this flag represents. Very simple. It can take a lot of headaches and a lot of things to coerce and to manipulate people into it. Very important to understand that. In the desert, let's speak about the desert. In the desert, what the desert represent? Right? Desert represent place of nothingness. Right? In the desert, now Moses taking them from Mount Sinai, now they're going to travel in the desert for many, many years. Right? So there's few things in the desert that happen, a lot of things that we're going to speak about. But what does the desert represent? What is that idea? Desert is a place represent of nothingness. Right? Therefore, desert might be in a place, it can be used in a very negative way, right? The negativity there, it might be, very, very bad. Why? Because nothing is there. If you get stuck in the desert, most likely it's death. Most likely it's damages. Most likely it's snakes. And who is there, right? What do you want to awaken when we're talking about the desert? It's a code. What is the code of the desert? The code of the desert represented by the number 0. Now, 0 is not a number. Some people, it's a number. No number, it's not a number. Right? 0 in Kabbalah represent the world of the endless. Circuitry, always end. There's no beginning, there's no end. There's no up, there's no down, there's no first, there's no second. Circle is equal. Circle is endless. Circle, you can continue on and on and on and on as much as you want. So now, this is what we want to achieve. We want to achieve the level of the desert. A zero? I don't want to be a zero. Every people tell me I'm a zero. I want to achieve a level of a zero to our ego, to our attachments, to our agenda, to our victimness. Take it down to the level of zero. Take down the blaming to the level of zero. Like we spoke last week about the words of coincidence and all of that. Take it to the level of zero, of nothingness. Put it in the desert. In the desert, nothing grows. So you have to remember that, if you reduce the self, the me, to the level of zero, you have everything. In the Zohar, it speaks about the idea that before they went into the desert, Moses counting the Israelites. Counting? It says, there's no blessings of something that you count. Let's understand. For example, many people speak about it's a figure of speech. People say, like, I count my blessings. If you can count your blessings, you have a problem, right? Because it's not a blessing. Because you have endless blessings. I don't see it. This is bad. This is bad. This is bad. Yeah, because you're counting how many. If you understand, if you get to the level, right, that you're not attached, or the word I want to use is grabbing, right, or holding on, right. Oh, look at blessing what I got. What do you mean? Release it. Don't attach it. Let the blessing grow. Each one of us have unlimited blessings in our life. So when you count your blessing, maybe it's a figure of speech, but in a way, my family, my this, my job, my that, okay. That's, you making a count of the blessing. Why did they say when you count something, there's no blessing in it? Let's understand. Obviously, it's represent limitation, right? 1 is 1, 2 is 2, 3 it's separate. 1 and 2 are not the same. 3 and 4 is not the same, right? It's different. Now, Moses is counting the Israelites. So what? He want to take them off the blessing? No. He want to bring them to understand that when you count, every number is away from the zero, is already separated and disconnected from the endless. The endless is the endless world, the endless blessings, the endless continuity is in the level of zero, right? Level of continuity. Number 1 is no longer connected to the zero. Number 2, all of that is already separated. More I'm counting, more I'm disconnected from the endless world, from the endless blessings, from my endless abilities, my endless desire, right? Because I want 1, 2, 3 things, okay? If I get to the level of zero, I can have everything and not really about me. Because, the source and tfisa. What is Ephes? Ephes is zero. The number zero, the word zero is Ephes. Ephes is, we call Ephes Maaseh, right? Sometimes, when people try to get something or we need to do the action. But we have to be able to do the action without our engagement, meaning the ego, the selfishness. You have to bring it to the level of zero. Because the zero, if you connect it to 1 or 2 or 3, it's not attached. Zero can be as many zeros as you can, right? More zeros, better, right? What would you prefer, zeros or ones, right? So, you can have maybe one, but many zeros, right? That represents a lot. But if I have only one, right? I just want 1 million. 1 million? You need many zeros. You want 1 billion? You have many more zeros. So you understand, more I'm separating myself from the attachment, from the agenda, from the need. I want to see it. I want to take it. I want them to know. How come they don't give me the respect I need? Bring yourself to the level of the desert. Don't let it grow. Don't let your ego grow. Don't let your agenda grow, because it's going to manipulate you. You're going to be manipulated by this agenda. Therefore, you want to bring yourself, and again, it's a practical thing. You have to practice this, right? You cannot get connected to it in the level of logic. It's not a logical thing. It's not something like that, because it says, "Ein hasaga bli kli." You cannot comprehend or understand or achieve something without a vessel for it, right? Without a vessel for it. So what do we want to? We want a vessel. We want to develop a vessel for that. What type of vessel? Endless vessel, like the desert. Like the desert have an endless vessel. Like you look in the desert, it's so wide, it's so open, you can, like the dream of, I forgot his name, in Vegas, where I used to live there. He came, he saw an emptiness. But then he saw, I can build this, I can build that. Of course he built something that serves the selfishness of people, but that's a different story. We're not going there, right? This is where the hub of the, the negativity can be developed, or can we awaken for people. Not that is a very negative place, but it's in a way awakening the selfishness of people, or in a way, a lot of the me desires is over there. So obviously it's not a coincidence why it's in the desert, right? So how do I develop an endless vessel? Is to achieve the level of zero. How? You have to, in a way, it's kind of like meditate on that. You have to really meditate and work on it. You want to awaken a greater and greater desire. I want to conquer the world, but I want zero for me. I want to create an amazing company, but not for me, for the people. But again, when it's happening, don't say, hey, it was for the people and now it's a little bit for me. No. You're just limiting your influence. You're just limiting everything. So, that's why we know, as soon as you start counting, you lose the blessings. What does it mean? You moved away from the endless world, from the endless capacity. Right? So, a lot of people receiving a new idea or enlightenment or some kind of inspiration, right? I want to remember that, wait, I got the idea. I might have a vessel just for the idea or just for that thought. Look what the thought I had. You had a vessel only for the thought. Do you have a vessel to manifest that thought? That's something else. Some people meant to draw that thought or the idea or the solution, but they never meant to be the people who solve that, who actually manifest the solution. So really be very clear. We all together in this world as human beings, one is drawing the thought, one is drawing the idea, but one needs to manifest, one do the work, one is engaged with some other thing. So you have to really consider every step of the way, am I building a vessel to maintain a connection to the endless without getting separated from that? But more you connected from the endless world, you receive information. You had a vessel for that. So how do I draw it more? More disengage the need, the ego, the attachment. More you building a vessel for you to maintain a connection to the endless world through the idea, through the revelation. So we know the light of the Creator, the light of your soul wants to express, wants to be expressed, wants to be manifest. But if you don't build a vessel for that to be expressed, you won't be able to enjoy it. And that is no continuity, that is not blessings. Again, this is part of, part of the difficulty that people have. They have great things, even like we're speaking, right? AI, right? It's a great idea. But when people try to grab, it's us, it's me, we came up with that, we're doing that, eventually it can translate it as very much, how do we pull it to our direction? How do we use that machine to our direction? Not really to help and improving people's life. That's the main concern that we should have. So obviously that idea, or first time, because we learned everything up until now was organic or biologic or grow, right? Now this is the first time we have an artificial one, something that is not real, not real, not organic or whatever it is that grows in this world. It's something that is externally to us, right? It's a different type of interaction. You have to understand. It's a different reality, right? It might be that we as human beings don't have influence like that anymore, right? It's easy to be very fascinated with machine as opposed to someone come and tell me a solution. Anyway, it's a different conversation, but this is what we want to meditate, that this machine will be moved and geared by people of a level of zero, meaning that they don't really pull it and push it in their direction, because that's what people do. Last point is very important. I mentioned it many times, but I thought it's just important now. When you speak to somebody, or when somebody speaks to you, right? Or you came to a lecture, or you're listening to that lecture right now, right? That conversation that we're having right now already took place in the spiritual dimension. Everything that is manifested in this world, in this physical world, have to take place first in the higher self. As I told you, like speak to Moses, right? So we had that conversation before, and we agreed. That's why that talk right now is being manifest. Once you live life like that, let's say your mom calls you and tells you something, it's not the first time she's telling you this, even if it's the same thing she told you yesterday. No, it's already agreed in the spiritual place. Therefore, it was manifest through a talk, through words. Now we have to understand, we executing through the speech. That's human being. The power of human being is to create through speaking. What do you want to do as a practical thing? Every single day, go to the desert. Go to the desert. I'm not talking about the physical desert. Go to a place of nothingness, a meditative state. And obviously have the conversation already in that place. The people you want to talk to, what you're going to speak about, the energy you're gonna transmit, how you're going to react when you're going to hear what they had to say to you, right? So for example, let's say tonight or tomorrow somebody's going to speak to you. They already told you that before. That's why you're listening to it now. And if you listen to it now, don't be so surprised. Don't be so like in shock. Okay, we agree on that. We had that conversation in the upper world. And this is what you're saying to yourself. I want to know why we had that conversation. Why did right now you said this or you said that? Where do I need to take it? How does it help in me in my journey to create a vessel of a desert? Which means, look at the desert. These are huge, right? That's the whole vessel, the huge vessel. But nothing can grow there. We want a vessel that is connected to the endless, a vessel that is keep growing and growing and growing without any side effects, without the need to control, without the need to manipulate. This is the idea. This is, this is our prayer. This is our connection. This is our meditation. I want to influence all the conversation I'm going to have today. And all the conversations already I had in the upper world, today I want to know, what did they tell me? What do I need to learn today? What do I need to do today? What do I need to manifest today? What do I need to express? What do I need to diminish for me achieving the level of zero? And again, if we connected so much on that, it says that when the Israelites went into the desert, it says, Simlatam lo balta, their clothing, even the physical clothing, their shoes, and this never wore off. Everything stayed crisp and clean and nice in the desert for 40 years. Why? It's that power. It's that power that Moses created, what we call the number, right? He put them in the frame of the zero, right? He removed them from the numbers. He took them into a blessing space. What does it mean? Endless protection. Nothing wear off. Because if what made something damage or not? When they disconnected from its source. So obviously, the concept that we're talking about here is that every day, when you insert yourself within that zero, within that space of Ephes, right, the space of the desert, right, the huge vessel, right, but nothing for me, right? I don't want something to grow from me. I want to manifest it. What the talk is, we are meant to manifest. We are the vessels, the light of the Creator within us is the message. We are just a vehicle. We are just a vessel. Why are you making it about you? Right? Don't make it. It's not yours. It's already manifested in the spiritual world. You just now the manifestation for this. So just say it or hear it and do something about it, or you shouldn't do something about it. It depends on the situation. But this is a beautiful conversation that we want to have every day with our Creator. So I'll leave you with that. I thought, just to share with you a little bit about this week and send you with a beautiful message for a great week and obviously great manifestation from all of us. Thank you and have a wonderful rest of the week.